How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Sixkilla and welcome back, finally, to the VII Enigma. You may have noticed that there has been a lack of more episodes of the VII Enigma coming up recently, and that's because I've been away for a week, sick, unfortunately. But I'm finally back in, it's finally time to get back into it, although there is still a bit of a cough there, so I have to apologise if I leave any coughs in and don't edit them out by mistake. I do attempt to get rid of them and, you know, normalise all the audio afterwards, so that there's no like weird hiccups or anything like that. But I'm back. It's time to do this daily, just like we intended to at the start. Sorry about the long intro. Let's kick off again, shall we? Episode 3, is it? Let's do it. I'd like an update, officer. How much of this quadrant have you searched? Beckett stands in the tunnels, accompanied by a small group of officers. We have concluded our search on the northeastern side, up until the eastern shield boundary. Nothing out of the ordinary and no sign of them yet, sir. I would have expected you to have more progress by now. I trust you've been using thermal scanners. Yes, sir. Nothing to report. Let me check the map. Now, where would I go if I were there? Beckett activates his retina projected device to view a map of the area. Have any teams checked to the southeastern side yet? No, sir. We're sweeping south as we speak. The pipework in this area is denser as well, as it being more isolated from the scanners, sorry. Perfect for laying low, so this is the best place to search. Bring a squad. I'll lead the way. Yes, sir. The team swiftly assembles and under the command of Beckett, they start to head south. Keep up the pace, men. If they detect us approaching, they'll flee. Time is critical. One thing Beckett had always taken pride in was his ability to lead by example. As such, he would make sure to be the fittest and most accomplished soldier on any team, as his belief was that only the strongest deserved to lead. He believed in power, and that power must be proven. He expected that from others and would expect no less from himself. Past the thermal scanner. I'm getting a small detection up ahead. Let's check it out. The group charges forward, arriving at what they've been looking for. This must be their base. Their computers running must have been the heat signature we saw, but I don't see anything that looks alive. Scour the area for people or clues. The officers make their way through the base, checking for clues to their target's whereabouts. We haven't found anything, sir, but the way the base looks seems as if they were anticipating that they may not return. Are you saying they fled this region? I'm not sure, sir. I can't log into these computers either. Well, we'll send them away for processing later. That will likely give us something. I'll also see if we can see any heat signature footprints. Hold on a second. There, I can see a very faint mark. Beckett raises his voice for all to hear. Men, follow me and have your firearms ready. We will likely have a confrontation with our targets soon. Yes, sir. Don't fall behind, let's move out. Beckett starts jogging ahead, down a dingy tunnel that directs toward the northwest. Back in the small chamber, an alarm sound grabs everyone's attention. Iker pulls out a small device from under his jacket, glancing at it with a great intensity. Bad news, our sensor is picking up movement back at the base. They must have sniffed us out. It'll only be minutes before they find their way here. Excuse me. We still have 30 seconds until the tasks are complete. Levi, weapons. On it. Opening his jacket, Levi reveals several small firearms stowed beneath. He swiftly passes them out to the members of the group. Guns are locked and loaded, ready to go. Elijah, you know how to fire one of these? I think so. Safety's off now, just point it and shoot, really. I'll call in our ride to pick us up. We'll have to take the tunnels to one of the western exits and hope we can make it to the surface before they get to us. All files now transferred and wiped. Setting up the explosives now. Explosives? We've wiped the files, but we can't let them know we had a Tempest machine. We have explosives set up at our base also in case it came to this. We can't risk them getting any information on us. Come on, here you go. Zala extends her hand to Elijah, helping him up to his feet. Okay team, stay together. As you know, it can be a labyrinth down here, and we only have one shot at escape. If one of you gets separated, we'll have to leave you behind to stay sharp. So stay sharp. We will move slowly and quietly to avoid detection until we are at a safe distance. We will then activate the explosives both here and at the base, and using the confusion we'll sprint to the exit. Any questions so far? Good. I've contacted our ride. It'll be waiting for us on 401st on the western side. I'll lead us there using this tracker. Levi, you take the rear and protect us from pursuing enemies. Let's move out. The group leaves the chamber back to the narrow entranceway tunnel, attempting to make as little noise as possible. This is the one place we don't want to get caught in. Shh! You want us to get caught? Leaving the narrow section of the tunnel, they continue back down the main path. Upon arriving at an intersection, Iker silently motions at the direction they will travel, then points to the detonator. Using his fingers, he counts down. 3, 2, freeze. They turn to see the agent has rounded the corner, about 10 yards away with his gun drawn straight at them. Several troops soon arrive and get in position. Beckett? Damn it. Hands up. Now. I will not hesitate to shoot. Iker turns his head back to the group and gives a small nod. They lift their hands as Iker takes a step forward to the officers to start surrounding them. Well, this sucks. To think you actually believed you could escape us? Wait, what's that in your hand? Drop it, now! Iker doesn't reply but gives a wink to Zyla, who acknowledges Iker with the slightest of head movements. Last chance. Now. The momentary blinding flash and earth-jolting tremors create a small window of opportunity for the group. Run! Zyla grabs Elijah's hand and bursts into a sprint. The group speeds away down the tunnel in the opposite direction. Clambering with all their speed whilst trying to get their footing, the walls shake as dust and debris rain down on them. They on us? I can't see. Either way, let's just get out of here. Stop! The muffled cry of Beckett was clearly some distance behind. Ah! Levi screams out in pain as he clutches his arm. Levi, you okay? Zyla screams out to Levi without breaking stride. Ah! The bastard shot my arm! Don't slow down or the next one will go on my back. The group shot in communication as they sprint through the dark tunnels. Shout in communication. We will have to lose them by taking off some of the smaller tunnels. Stay close. Iker takes a sharp corner down a side tunnel, zigzagging through the labyrinth of passages. He continues to shift and change direction, relying on his navigation device to correct the course. Don't slow down now, Elijah. Move it. Breathing heavily. Okay. Well, I mean, if they know the tunnel, they know where they're going, and they don't know where you're going, and it's a maze like you said it is, we should be fine. Apart from the shot guy, I mean, he'll probably be fine. On waning legs, the group continues their erratic path for several more minutes before Iker stops in his tracks. Okay, here's the exit. Well, let's just pray that our ride is waiting for us on the other side. Before them is a massive service ladder leading back to the surface. Up! The ladder. We go. Damn it, where have they gone? Beckett stands dead in his tracks as several small passages are spread out before him. Sorry, my voice still hasn't come back to normal either, you can probably tell. We're doing our best. We got this, don't worry. I don't know, sir. Have a few men scout the area in case they're still down here. Check for any clues of who they are and where they may be headed. Yes, sir. I don't have time to be letting them get away. Gah! Beckett angrily mumbles to himself. I can't believe they had explosives set up. That was incredibly careless of us. Seeming to stir himself back into action, he turns toward another officer. Hey you, quickly come with me. We go check the surface, so call a driver to meet us there. And get a scan of the city, look for erratic driving patterns. Right away, sir. This is starting to get a little out of hand. The group make it to the street above after climbing the service ladder, and as they do, a weathered car screeches in alongside them. Get in. You heard the woman, hurry. The group rapidly piles into the car and before the door can close, it speeds off again. You really done it this time. Elijah, I'd like to introduce you to the final member of our group. Amelia Miller. Sitting in the driver's seat is a young woman who is clearly reveling in the excitement of the unfolding events. Nice to meet you. Well, as nice as it can be when you're being chased by the overlords of time and all. Amelia has a wicked sense of sarcasm, so you better watch out, Elijah. Can you never pick your times, Jasper? Talk about situationally tone deaf. Gotta move faster. The vehicle weaves between traffic as Amelia handles it right on the edge of with each maneuver. How's your arm, Levi? Let me look at it. It's fine, just grazed me really. I'll patch it up when we stop. Zyla looks at Levi suspiciously with raised eyebrows. Speaking of which, Amelia, did you manage to secure a good hideout while we were gone? Sure did. Got supplies and a route there and all. Good. We need to regroup and come up with a plan. We'll catch you up on what's happened when we arrive. Ah, Iker, always keeping me waiting. How about keeping your eyes on the road? Huh? What do you mean by that, Amelia? Oh, nothing. Why, you jealous about something, sweetie? What? You might want to stop teasing him. They're a bit too dense to take the jokes. I hate to interrupt this important moment, but I think we've got company. Amelia looks in the rearview mirror to see a distant vehicle rapidly gaining on them. This music is badass, by the way. This slaps. Damn it. Amelia sharply takes a right, and then a left, and then calls 911. But she isn't able to create any distance on them. The driver is good. Looks like that isn't going to work. Oh man. Well, one of them, as we have already discussed, one of them is win and one of them is fail. Let's overwrite this one. Let's attempt a risky maneuver. Why not? Why aren't you speeding up? No way we're going to outrun one of those BB models. If they found us in it, it means that they've got good eyes on us too. Only one way we're going to get out of this. I don't like the sound of that. Slowing down the vehicle, she waits until the pursuing vehicle is close to her tail. It's him. It's Beckett. What are you doing? They're right on us now. And now. Amelia then accelerates suddenly, swinging the vehicle to the left. What happened to not outrunning them? The pursuing car rapidly accelerates toward them in an effort to stay on their tail. We aren't. With an ecstatic look, Amelia brakes and swings back to the right. The accelerating car behind them has no time to react. The back right panel of their vehicle collides at the front left section of the pursuing car. Their wheel spins for a second before... I'm not sure if that was a success, really. Are we dead? I like Levo. The group looks over to see that the pursuing vehicle, having been forced off the road by Amelia's maneuver, had crashed into the side of the building. It was partially lodged into the structure and had taken significant damage. They, however, had narrowly avoided a pole and come to a stop safely. That was incredibly risky. Ah, oh, come on! We were as good as captured if we'd taken any other option. I just chose the option with the highest chance of success. You sure you weren't just having fun? A simple thank you for saving you all would be enough. Well, they won't be able to follow us now. Time to make for our exit before reinforcements show up. For once, I agree with you. Let's get out of here. And we just got the achievement, Chapter 1 complete. Clarity. I don't know how many chapters there are though, so it doesn't give me much of an idea of how far we're in. You're lucky to get away with only the injuries to your leg, given the magnitude of that car crash. You've been much more reckless than usual recently. Back at the Bosk facility, Beckett sits up in a recovery bed. How long until I can use it again? There were no issues in realigning the bones, and the nanomachines are already at work in healing the fractures. You should be able to walk again in around 4 or 5 days. I'm walking out of here in 3. Okay, sir. Also, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Watchers have contacted us. They're waiting for you to return their call. Guess there was no hiding that accident. Wonder if this is it for me. You know too well that there's no escaping from them, even more so with your leg as it is. I suggest calling them right away. If you're honest, you never know what the outcome might be. Well, they have to come down on officers for much less, but it is as you said. There is no escaping. Connect me through. Right away, sir. I'll run the feed through the wall monitor. A dark figure appears on the screen, to the right of Beckett's treatment bed.
Hello, Agent Beckett. It's good to see your injuries are not life-threatening.
The dark figure speaks with a slow, dispassionate voice. Thank you, sir. It's been an unusual few days.
So it seems. I can see you've been dispatching troops in an unusual fashion. Care to fill us in on what you've been doing?
Well, a prisoner managed to escape. One without a neural ID.
And you didn't think it appropriate to inform us instantly of such a major development?
I was planning on informing you after the target was apprehended. I had to move quickly.
You do know our policy when it comes to divergent ends, do you not, Agent Beckett? It is not your right to endanger the safety of others through your own arrogance. This information should have been sent to us instantly, so that we could have carried out a safety evaluation.
Beckett's head drops in response. Sorry, sir. Beckett always tried to avoid too much communication with the Watchers. They were the group entrusted to carry out the will of the 12 in this time period, to watch over the loop in their stead and make the emergency adjustments to the timeline. Communication with them likely meant something extremely serious.
Although we normally only carry out the will of the 12 as revealed through the Tempest system, We have been granted discretionary power to use the system if we discover a large enough divergence. This would normally have been such an instance. We would have simply sent the information back to straighten out the timeline and removed you from duty.
Normally, sir?
Yes, normally that would be our response, but not this time. One of our clear instructions on this loop was that things pertaining to you, Agent Beckett, were to be treated as an exception to standard protocol.
Huh?
Extra provisions have been granted for events that happen under your jurisdiction.
Why would that be, sir? I don't understand.
Nor do I. I personally believe your actions deserve the harshest of discipline. However, I will not be the one who brings humanity into danger by doubting the 12. I will have faith that they have reasons for giving this exception.
What does that mean for me, sir?
It means that you have been granted freedom by the 12 to correct this danger with your own hands. You will not be punished at this time for your breach of protocol, nor will we use the emergency measures to overwrite your authority and correct the timeline forcefully. Although this exception was made, I must stress to you the importance of proving yourself worthy of this honor by capturing the fugitives and bringing them here for questioning.
Yes, sir. I'll not fail Bosk again.
I should hope not. Is there anything else to report to us, Agent Beckett?
No, sir.
Toward the Aeon.
The wall monitor goes black as Beckett sits in silence. I was not expecting that. Me either. Very strange. Why did you think to inform them of the object we found? I'm not sure. I just felt like it wasn't the correct move. You're very much pushing your luck, sir. What do you make of this exception granted to me? Have you ever heard of anything like it? No, I haven't. It's very odd indeed. Even the Watchers seem confused about the situation. Something very strange is happening around us. We need to be careful, and it doesn't make sense that the 12 would send such a specific order about me. Not unless it benefited them in some strange way. I feel like we're being used. Of course we are, sir. All we've ever been is a tool for them. Although, if it's mutually beneficial, then it works for me. It remains to be seen if it will be beneficial to us or not. We will see. Suppose at least we are still alive for now. Indeed. Anyway, we need to think about what to do next. Use all our resources to search for clues as to the fugitives' whereabouts. I want regular progress reports, and make preparations for me to be back out in the field within 3 days. Yes, sir. Interesting. Why would they would only make an exception if they thought he was necessary for the timeline to end at a place where they want it to be. Obviously they've got some grand plan they're working towards, right? And obviously they know that Beckett is instrumental in that grand plan, even if he doesn't know it himself. The group trudged through the woods on the ridge of a plateau situated outside the city limits. Night has fallen. The city is glowing on the horizon as they make their way toward the hideout. Do you really think we would have thrown them off our trail? I'm pretty sure. The vehicle's still out there driving on auto, just in case. We'll wait a few days before we recollect it. Plus, we've been walking for hours. Without neural IDs for them to detect, it'll be a long time before they sniff us out. We shouldn't grow complacent, but I think we'll be safe for a little while at least. How much further until we arrive? Oh, your feet hurt already, babe. Guess being in the front of the screens all day will do that to you. No, just the view following you for hours on end is starting to get to me. Oh, nasty. I'll have to be careful around you and that snake tongue of yours. Well, to answer your question, which is more than you deserve, I should add, I'd say we only have a few more kilometers until we arrive. As Elijah walks, he looks out over the city. So that's what the full city looks like. It looks massive. It is. Have you remembered anything about it? No, not really. The city of Viribus. It's divided into 8 sectors, and from there divided into street numbers, after street names were phased out at the end of the last decade. Here you can check out this sketch out of the map if you want. Thanks. It's surreal that a place I apparently lived in for so long can seem so foreign to me. Viribus. It sure is a strange sounding name for a city. It's Latin for strength. Thus, the city is known as the City of Strength. It is the most powerful city in the world, and Bosk's centralized hub. All the major cities were renamed throughout the last 2 decades. Most of them now have Latin names. Why was that? Well, once the Bureau had the trust of the people after the pandemic, they started to work on new projects to ensure safety for humanity. They suggested that as a symbol of worldwide unity we should start afresh with the names of the cities. Their reasoning was that the old names were rooted in cultures of division, as they called them, and those chapters of humanity should be closed. Anyone who opposed these ideas was accused of hatred toward humanity itself. After the fear and panic of the pandemic, people were very willing to cast aside freedoms in favour of safety. It sounds bad to say, but people quite suddenly started to think of differences between nations and cultures as dangers. Bosk both planted the idea, and then offered their desired solution. The temper system acted as a trump card, so they could just claim that because of the information they had from the future, that people should trust their decision. Guess what? People did. That's what pisses me off about those bastards. It makes a lot of sense when they say what they say, but something about it just makes me so angry. Since then, Bosk has done many things to bring unity and safety to humanity. One world currency and a unification of global laws, to name a few, all under their control and enforcement, of course. Sounds like everything that has happened has just ended up benefiting and strengthening Bosk's control. I've been thinking, do you think Bosk planned the pandemic, or maybe made up the whole story in order to have a good reason to take over? Like, it was a conspiracy of some kind. Ah, you're into conspiracies too, huh? I knew there was something I liked about you. No, I wasn't. I kinda wish that was the truth because it would make this whole mess a lot simpler. From our research and what the founder has told us, there is no doubt the pandemic was not a conspiracy or man-made in any way. To be honest, I really don't know if that makes things better or worse for us. I guess I just gotta run with the truth, whether I like it or not. The handling of the pandemic itself, we have no issue with. It was the fact that they didn't hand back the power once it was over. That is the one thing you can rely on humans for. There is always someone ready to take advantage of something for their own selfish reasons. That's what makes this whole situation so difficult. Bosk really was necessary for that time, and their response was quite incredible. I doubt humanity could have done any better. It was what came after it, where things went south, capitalizing on the temper system and putting themselves in control. I guess that kind of power corrupts people, maybe even people who started off with the right intentions. Sure does sound like a mess. Still, there's a lot of beauty out there. Look at that city. That is why we're fighting. To lift the veil covering the people's eyes. It might be a thankless task, but it is one only we can do now. Okay, we're about here. This way, people. Amelia leads the group back down behind a rocky crag on the side, facing away from the city. Rounding another corner reveals a small hillside cabin. Opening the door, Amelia ushers the people inside. Wow, I love these rustic old-time cabins. Now before everyone questions me about everything, I'm looking at you, Iker and Jasper. I'll run you through just how Bosk-proof this is, then you can all tell me what a genius I am. You can always dream, I suppose. Quiet, snake tongue. Now no interrupting. I'll lay out my perfect hideout preparing skills and you can praise me at the end. Here we go. Oh man, I can't do that. The windows city facing are blacked out and the doors sealed to stop all signs of light, and at night time the power is off-grid technology. The cabin can't be seen from the city side due to the hill, not from above because of the overhanging trees. It can only be seen from very few specific angles from the opposite side, although it is fairly camouflaged, so I doubt you would see it anyway. The old approach road used to be from the opposite of the city side, but has been out of service since the 20s. It's overgrown and doesn't even have to look like a road anymore. Finally, there are countless scattered old accommodations all around the area that have been abandoned, so it blends in. In summary, the cabin is basically invisible. Okay, you may praise me now. It is adequate. Adequate? Good job, sweetie. This place will be a perfect place for us. Why is Iker always so hard to please? Well, let's get settled in then. Oh, and Zyla, would you mind patching up Levi's arm before he bleeds out? What are you talking about, Iker? I've got at least half an hour, at least an hour left before I get to that point. Come on, Levi. A few hours later, after settling in, the group gathers together for dinner. Well, how much food did you prepare? I think surviving today's events warrants a celebration, don't you? Yeah, I ain't complaining. The group begin partaking of their meal from the beautifully decorated spread. Thanks for the food. My pleasure. Well, this is tasty. It sure is. Might even be better than Iker's cooking. Looks like you got some competition there, Iker. Well, it looks like I'll have to show my worth by cooking tomorrow's meal. Iker responds with deadpan facial expressions, causing smiles to emerge from the rest of the group's faces. Well, you've stoked the beast now, Amelia. It's about time I got his interest. How'd you make it anyway? A magician never reveals his secrets. I've got to keep ahead of Iker after all. You said you were ahead in the first place. Oh, you've really done it now, Amelia. You didn't tell us you cooked, Amelia? It's always been Iker's thing. Yeah, well, not like I have tons of time to tell you all about my life anyway. Elijah, Amelia is fairly new to the group too. She joined almost a month ago in anticipation for this mission. I see. Actually, I was wondering how long you've all been together and how it happened. It started with Zala and myself around 6 months ago. I was reassigned to a job doing maintenance in the tunnels, specifically to a portion that was well overdue for repairs. Care to guess what I found there? The Tempest machine? The Tempest console. Correct. Although I have no idea what it was at the time, I thought perhaps it was a device linked to some tunnel operation. So I opened it, and strangely enough, I found a message addressed to me directly from the founder. Some pretty strange coincidence there. Kinda fishy if you ask me. By the way, how do you know you'd be there? I'm not sure. It's my guess that he had me purposefully reassigned to that area of the tunnels to find that message, though your guess is as good as mine. To cut a long story short, his instructions guided us to where we find ourselves today. Jasper joined shortly afterwards, followed by Levi and finally Amelia a month ago. How are you able to log into the Tempest machine to watch his message? I thought you need an administrator ID to get in. You only need an admin for some functions, such as to view the identifier sequence or to send or view a security encrypted message. For instance, when the very first files were sent back to 2044, they were not encrypted. We just needed anyone on the other side to read them. It was an emergency. However, there might be some situations where you want to send classified information or information to only one person. These kinds of messages are sent with encryption and needed an admin ID. Amelia is right. Those are some strange coincidences. That Tempest message would have just been sitting there out in the open, just waiting for Iker to find. That means if anyone else had stumbled upon that Tempest machine, they could have accessed the message meant for you, Iker. True. Although the message arrived only a week before I found the machine, and nobody would stumble upon that tunnel by accident. That machine was incredibly well hidden. Not even Bosk knew about it. Who knows how long it was down there or why. The rest is history. The next message required an admin ID, as was addressed to you personally. So we extracted you, just like he instructed. And here we are, on our way to Pandora's box. Turns out he knew what he was doing too, as we will need your admin ID to get the identifier sequence. Doesn't it seem a bit too convenient that the machine was just there waiting for you? Seems a little off somehow, like it would be way too hard to plan out. He has promised that when it is all over, he will explain everything, and in the meantime, we need to trust him. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I still don't like not knowing what's going on, but I gotta admit, the founder knows his stuff. I guess that's all the information we have to work with at the moment. It's a lot of faith being placed on this founder of theirs. Elijah, we promised we would tell you about your past after we escaped, and I plan to honour that. I'd ask if we could wait until morning. It has been a big day, and I think I've reached my limit. Oh, okay, that's fine. I recommend everyone get an early night. It's been a big day, and there are many more to come. I'll see you all in the morning. Iker packs away his dish and heads out toward the bunk rooms. Likewise, the rest of the group slowly disperse, following packing up from dinner, leaving Elijah sitting alone at the table. The atmosphere in the cabin was drastically shifted in the still of the night, and in the now eerie quiet, Elijah's thoughts consume him again. We're lucky to have survived the day. This has all been completely insane. The slightest mistake and none of us would be here. Though, one thing is now obvious, it would be impossible for them to hoax everything that has happened today. It's clear at very least that the group believes in what they're fighting for. I don't know if this founder of theirs can be trusted though, but the information he's given seems accurate. But accurate information doesn't mean he has the right intentions. This group seems to have almost blind faith in him without knowing anything about him. For all we know, he could be using us. Of course he's using us. That's what people do. He could be using them to get something out of me now that I have no memories. Elijah nervously taps his foot on the ground while he seeks to reach a point of clarity. Which leads me to the key question. Why on earth do I have the ability to log into an administrator account on a Tempest console? Because weren't you a scientist that worked on them or something? Why can only I access the sequence identifier of Pandora's box? Is my connection there to Bosk or something else entirely? Maybe the founder really just needs a way to get that number for some other purpose and is manipulating the group to get it? Though perhaps that doesn't quite add up either. The group doesn't seem like a bunch of fools. Surely they have their reasons for trusting this information. They promised they'd fill me in on everything else they know tomorrow. I think then I'll finally be able to decide if I can trust their faith in the founder. And even if I don't, Bosk are after me now whether I like it or not. I don't know what my past is with them, but I doubt handing myself in is going to be a good idea. I guess I'm part of this fight now, whether I like it or not. Hopefully if I regain some memories, or at least get some more information, I'll be able to figure out my place in all this. And that all begins tomorrow morning. And that seems like the perfect time to wrap this episode up. Don't you think? January 25th, 2060. I assume that's the next morning, is it? It is. Alright, well, we're gonna wrap this one up here. Apologies about the voice and everything, and the coughing and everything. Still coming right, but I think it's not too bad. Maybe no. I think we're good. I think we'll be fine. We'll be back into this again tomorrow. I'm looking forward to getting through this. Because I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and I've been getting serious withdrawals trying to get back to recording so I can get this out so you can all watch it. Because one thing that I've realised in the time that I was stuck not able to record was how much I miss doing it when I can't do it. So thank you very much that I'm back and for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out, and I'll see you in the next one.